This is the 6 o'clock edition of Channel 4 News, television's most complete full-hour report, with Washington's team for news. Jim Vance, Bob McBride, Bob Ryan's weather, sports with George Michael, Jim Upshaw's Inside Report, and featuring Lee Thompson and Arch Campbell. And now, Channel 4 News, live at 6.
Good evening, I'm Mike Hambrick, sitting in for vacationing Bob McBride along with Jim Vance. At the top of our news tonight, brace yourselves. Telephone rates in Maryland and the district are about to go up.
Mike, indeed, both the Maryland and D.C. rate changes were announced just late this afternoon. Joe Krebs has details on all of this now from the newsroom. Joe?
Jim, what these new higher rates mean is that the future is here. Telephone users in Maryland and the district will learn quickly, in cold, hard cash, some of the effects of the breakup of AT&T. The telephone company, as we have known it, is very old and very large, and for years, parts of the operation have helped support other parts. For years, high long-distance rates have subsidized the operation of the smaller, less profitable local telephone companies. That is history.
Can I help you?
Now the local telephone companies will be on their own. C&P, like others around the country, will need to make up the revenue they will lose by losing the long-distance subsidies. And now, despite the fact that C&P is reportedly one of the largest companies in the Washington area, number 2 according to revenue, number 1 according to profits, and number 1 according to assets, last March it asked the D.C. Public Service Commission for an $82 million rate increase. That was followed by a request to Maryland for a $218 million increase. Today, both jurisdictions gave their answers. In the district, the commission gave the company just over half of what it requested. That means that for the average residential telephone user, the flat rate will go up from $8.33 to $12.49 per month. It means that the cost of calling information will go up to 20 cents per call after the first 10 calls, which are free. In Maryland, the commission there gave C&P well over half of what it asked. And although the figures are not certain yet, it means that the average residential phone bill for flat-rate service in Montgomery County could go from roughly $12 to $17 to $20. And it means that the cost of making information calls in Maryland will go to 25 cents per call after the first 12. Now, again, the Maryland flat rate figures are not certain yet. That's because the commission today only granted a lump sum increase. The phone company must now come back with proposals for exactly how that should be apportioned. The D.C. figures are, however, final, and they will go into effect on January 7th. Jim?
Okay, Joe Krebs, thank you. On Monday, there will be big changes with regard to the telephone company itself. As Joe indicated, that is the day on which AT&T divests. In other words, the AT&T monopoly will be broken up as ordered by a federal court. As the date of the divestiture approaches, the public is becoming ever more confused and, in some cases, panicky. Marjorie Margolies reports.
The breakup of the Bell system is like trying to take apart a 747 while it's in flight and then putting it together again. And if you've got a problem, as a consumer, you're like somebody walking up to the stewardess and saying, "Can I have a sandwich?" while she's trying to put it back together again.
And there are lots of sandwiches out there. At the C&P Service Center on Connecticut Avenue, there was a 2-hour wait to get to the front of the line, and most of the people in line were not quite sure why they were there.
I'm not sure whether I had to pay more or later, and I wanted to change my phone before they changed the company.
So you came just because you're not sure?
I came to be sure, in case that is correct.
I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get rid of my phone here.
The manager of the store told us this has been the craziest week she's had since she's been in the business.
Most of the customers feel that they have to do this before midnight tomorrow night. What they don't realize is that Monday morning, business will be as usual and nothing will have changed.
Now, that information I don't know.
This is the business office at C&P. It is here this week that major migraines have been nurtured, as the volume of calls has at least doubled.
See, it's a little misleading somewhat when they say you can purchase it from C&P, but it's actually the AT&T equipment office.
There's no question about the fact that there are more questions than answers at this point. Divestiture has been a very hard pill to swallow for AT&T, and now it looks like the customer may have to share that prescription.
Okay, but it's 2 different lines.
Yes.
Okay, it comes on 1 bill, 2 bills. Do you know?
2 bills.
So what advice is there for consumers?
If you don't have to call your business office, if you don't have to call AT&T, don't. By the same token, if you're leasing that phone, go out and buy it.
Simon says this is a very bad time for a move, for new installations, or for breakdowns. And the message from the phone company seems to be, don't do anything to or for your phone. You don't have to. Relax for the next several months at least. Marjorie Margolis, Channel 4 News.
Next week, Lee Thompson will bring us a series of reports in an effort to answer some of the most commonly asked questions regarding the telephone system.
WJLA-TV, Washington, D.C. From News 7, this is the 6 o'clock report with David Shoemaker, Renee Poussant, Jim Ramsey, and Frank Herzog.
Good evening. David and Renee have the night off. I'm Mark McCarthy.
And I'm Jim Barry. The Chesapeake and Potomac Phone Company will be ringing in the new year by charging customers more on their phone bills. Rates in both Maryland and the district will be going up. News 7's Mary Kroenke is here with the details. Mary?
Jim, here in the district, consumer groups say the people enjoyed some major victories today. Your phone bill will be going up. The D.C. Public Service Commission has already granted C&P a $42 million rate hike, but consumer groups are excited about the things the commission rejected. Late this afternoon, the PSC turned down C&P's proposal to offer local measured service. That, in essence, is local long distance. You'd be charged for local calls the same way you're charged for long distance, depending on the time of day you call, how long you talk, and where you call from. The PSC has rejected local measured service before and did so again today. The Committee for Equitable Telephone Rates is delighted.
It affects everyone across the board. Nobody in a limited income situation, no one with a large family, no one with teenagers, no one who does not have a lock on their phone or puts the phone in the closet would have any idea what their costs at the end of any month might be.
The Commission also rejected C&P's request to restructure the way you are charged for phone service.
What the phone company wanted to do, and which the Public Service Commission was very wise in rejecting, was charge you for the pleasure of hearing a dial tone, $4.42 a month. And that would be a way of then charging you for every time you use that phone. The phone company did not tell you that what in the future they'd like to do is charge you even when you dial the phone and don't get anybody, or the line is busy.
The Commission also turned down the company's proposal to increase the cost of pay phone calls from 15 cents to a quarter. They'll stay 15 cents per call. C&P says it is very disappointed in today's decisions. It says it was trying to move local costs closer to actual costs instead of subsidizing them with long-distance rates. But remember, this is not all great news. C&P has already been granted a $42 million rate hike in the district. Residential customers will be paying 26.5% of the higher rates. Business and government callers will carry the heaviest load. Still, in the district, your metropolitan area unlimited service will increase from its present $8.83 per month to almost $12.50 a month. That's a 41% increase. Businesses, your cost will increase from $9.60 per month to over $15.50, a 62% increase. Maryland phone customers are also facing bigger bills. The Maryland Public Service Commission gave C&P an $87 million rate hike effective Sunday. That's almost half the $221 million the phone company had asked for. Now, C&P customers in Maryland will be able to get that local measured service, the local long distance, which D.C. turned down. The company also won the right to collect access fees from MCI and similar phone companies. That should bring in another $81 million. Virginia phone customers who are already paying the highest phone costs in the Washington area are by no means being spared from these rising rates. Their increase has already been granted. The average home phone bill in Northern Virginia will jump from about $12.50 per month to $16.50. That's a 33% increase. Lots of numbers, too many to remember specifically, but remember it's all part of the breakup of AT&T, which happens on Sunday. Mark?
Thank you, Mary. We definitely need a scorecard on that one.
top stories coming up on Eyewitness News at 6. Ellen Kingsley takes a look at what we can expect when AT&T breaks up Monday. Mac Lee reports that after the breakup, one special phone service will remain intact, at least for the time being. Gordon Barnes says it'll be colder tomorrow, warmer on Sunday. Kent Gerald has a preview of the New Year's Eve celebration at the old post office. Then James Brown and Sonny Jurgensen will preview the Redskins and the Rams. And Mike Buchanan concludes his unique look at the year 1983. Eyewitness News is next. Now, from Television 9, Washington's news station, this is Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening. I'm Bob Altage. Maureen Bunyan and Gordon Peterson are off tonight. Telephone users got a look at the future today, 2 days before the telephone company breakup. Local phone rates are going up, and C&P has begun referring rental phone repairs to the phone's new owners, AT&T. Ellen Kingsley has this report.
Our new relationship with the phone company begins with a 1-2 punch squarely in the pocketbook. In Virginia, rates will rise for unlimited local service from $12.55 a month to $16.48. Today, Maryland adopted for the first time something called a dial tone charge, $5.40 a month just for the dial tone. New monthly usage rates added to the dial tone charge, have not yet been announced. And new rates were announced for the district today, too. Unlimited calls in the district only, up from $4.51 a month to $6.38. The unlimited rate for D.C. users calling elsewhere in the metro area rises from $8.83 a month to $12.29. Analysts are blaming the rate rises on the breakup of AT&T, which takes place officially on Sunday. Besides paying more for telephone calls, though, you also can expect to pay more for telephone repairs. First, the consumer must determine whether the problem in need of repair is with the phone set or on the phone line.
How do you characterize the difference between a line problem or a set problem? And that's, you can easily figure out, one, if you have more than one phone in your house, you can try unplugging the other phones and plugging each phone in one by one to see if that phone, in fact, if it's just one phone that's not working or if it's all the phones that's not working. If it's all the phones that's not working, then it sounds like a line problem. But if you've done this and or you're unable to do it because the phones are hardwired, you call the C&P repair office, and we can test the line to determine if it is, in fact, a problem in the line.
Beginning January 1st, the phone you lease no longer belongs to C&P. The new owner is AT&T. If you've got a problem with the phone set, AT&T repairs it free, but only if you bring the set into an AT&T service center. If you want AT&T to come out and fix it, there will be a service charge, $40 for the first 15 minutes, $20 for every 15 minutes after that. While AT&T may own the phone, C&P still owns the line. So if the problem is on the line, C&P fixes it free. But if they come out to fix the line and find the problem is with your phone set, they'll charge $41 for the visit and won't fix the phone. If you own your own phone, of course, you always have to pay for repairs unless the set is under warranty. Breaking up Ma Bell was supposed to have created a freer, more competitive telecommunications marketplace for consumers. That may well happen eventually, but for now all it has created is greater economic burdens and a whole lot of confusion. Ellen Kingsley, Eyewitness News.
While many telephone customers are confused and even angry over the complexities involved in the breakup of AT&T, there is comfort in knowing some things will remain the same, if only temporarily. Mac Lee explains.
Since 1947, those who wanted to learn more about the weather have been able to simply dial a 7-digit number and listen.
Northwesterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour.
C&P operators are responsible for recording the weather every hour during their regular shift. No special training is needed, but all must spend time becoming familiar with the recording equipment. The operators say there's a sense of satisfaction in knowing what you do is heard by thousands. C&P officials say they receive as many as 150,000 calls each day.
We have a gentleman who's another fan club member of ours. He's even come to visit us, to visit the weather room. He has come to one of our Christmas parties and sent cards, goodies, just to let us know that he appreciates us.
With divestiture, however, these operators on January 1st will become employees of AT&T, and eventually the job of recording weather will be left only to C&P workers. But a contract agreement has been worked out that will allow these operators to continue providing weather information for perhaps as long as a year. So regular customers, or weather junkies, whichever you prefer, won't have to adjust to new voices anytime soon. That's good news to Willie Glenn and her colleagues, who are now free to continue providing updated forecasts to an appreciative public.
I'm curious about something. When you want to know about the weather, what do you do?
Call the weather.
Mac Lee, Eyewitness News.
I'm Morton Dean, and this is the CBS Evening News. No formal ceremony marked the occasion, but last midnight, the world's largest private company with assets of more than $150 billion was broken up. Jacqueline Adams reports that American Telephone and Telegraph, as we know it, is no more.
As of today, the nationwide Bell telephone system dissolves into 7 regional companies. The breakup of AT&T has left many people confused and prompted one musical group to record a satirical song.
They say that breaking up is hard to do, and so they put the screws to you.
Many consumers sing a similar tune. They just don't know what it all means to them.
I don't understand that.
Do you know what you're going to have to do when your phone breaks?
Yes. I couldn't tell you, but I know how to find out what to do.
Do you know what's going on?
Sort of, and not really.
In fact, the telephone company tells us consumers don't have to do anything right away.
Nothing's going to change in the way that you make your call, the way that you pay for your call.
For months, local phone companies have been sending representatives out to talk with consumers to explain the options available to them. One common question is what to do with the phone you now own.
I don't know, do we rent it or do we buy it? Or...
For some, it may be cheaper to buy the phone from AT&T or one of the many stores now selling them. But what if it breaks? If the problem is in the phone line, the local telephone company will make the repair. But if the set itself is broken, the owner will have to get it fixed just like any other appliance.
Now, what about us? Are we going to electrocute ourselves by trying to fix things, or...
Another choice is whether to use AT&T for long-distance service or one of its many competitors. Telephone users say they're confused by all the choices.
It's kind of like a divorce, and like in any divorce, sometimes hard feelings and also sad feelings because it's the end of a good way that you had.
But phone company officials say that in a few years, consumers will see all the benefits of the breakup. There will be more competition, and technology will develop to make shopping and banking at home a breeze. But what consumers will see first are higher prices. In 1983, local telephone companies won $1.5 billion in increases. They've asked for $6.7 billion more in 1984. So while long-distance rates are expected to come down, local rates will continue to go up. By 1990, telephone bills may double.
Congress is trying to slow the price hikes. A bill is now pending in the Senate. But even if the legislation passes, it won't change the fact that Ma Bell won't be there anymore. And if the consumer wants to take advantage of the options available to him, he'll have to make a few decisions for himself. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, Washington.